All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to talk about Bill Belichick, um, set to join Inside the NFL. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch a single episode of Inside the NFL last year. And I'll be honest, I'll be honest again, I'm kind of disappointed with Inside the NFL because it's not, what it used to be. It's a completely different cast. There's no more James Brown and Adam Shine and Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason. It's a completely different thing. You got Ryan Clark, Chris Long, and Chad Johnson. And no offense to those guys, but that's not my Inside the NFL. My Inside the NFL is on HBO. This isn't the Inside the NFL. So I'm disappointed, and many people I know agree with me. But Belichick will be joining it, and the season starts August 30th. This season of Inside the NFL starts August 30th. Belichick is thrilled to join this, and I think this is a good thing for Inside the NFL to, hey, Belichick's going to be on it, so that'll give you more of an incentive to tune in. But along with that, though, Belichick is going to be on the Pat McAfee Show. He's going to make weekly appearances on that, and he's also going to participate in the ManningCast as well for 10 games and likely one wildcard playoff game. So we could sit here and say, well, Belichick doesn't have a job coaching, but he's going to be breaking stuff down a lot. You're going to see him a lot. So he might not be on the sidelines, but he's going to be on your television screen quite a lot. Quite a bit. And you know what? I'm happy for him. Because I'll be honest, I know things did not end well in New England. I get that. But I think he still deserved a job. This is arguably the greatest coach of all time, and he's without a job. And I get it, the age, and again, how things ended in New England. I understand that. But that does not mean that he does not deserve at least one more shot. I think there are some coaches right now, I would take Bill Belichick over them in a heartbeat. There's a few you could go through and say, yeah, I would take Belichick over him. I'd take him over Dan Quinn with the Commanders. That's one situation there. Honestly, even with the Jets. Now, it wouldn't have happened. It's not going to happen, but you're telling me you would take Robert Saleh over Bill Belichick at this current moment? I would take Bill Belichick. So that's just two. That's just two. I'm not going to go through the entire league, and again, Belichick to the Jets is not going to happen. But I would take Bill Belichick over Robert Saleh. And no offense to Robert Saleh, but it's just, I would take Belichick right now. Belichick and Rodgers, they have an admiration for each other that, I think that could work. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, Belichick is going to be a part of the NFL season, just in a different way. And he also was involved with what was it, the that all-time team that they were making, that all-time team show that they were doing on NFL Network with Rich Eisen and Chris Collinsworth. Belichick was a part of that, and he was talking about some of the greatest players when they were drafting this or putting together this team, this all-time team. Belichick loves to talk about football. That's his life. And he's been around the game for a long time. And, from the comments that I saw, on some of the stuff with Pat McAfee, him being with the crew, people are saying they like this version of Belichick. He's looser. He's not, just guy goes to the podium and you can't really hear what he's saying. Well, no, you can't hear it. It's just, he's mumbling through a press conference. He has no interest in talking to the media most of the time. At least, from some of the interviews you'll see. This is a more lively version of Belichick, and I think people like that. That's also like when Tom Brady left New England and went to Tampa. Everyone was like, wow, we love this version of Brady. No, I shouldn't say everybody. Because, you still got the Tom Brady haters. You still got the Bill Belichick haters. Those are still going to be in effect. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just you leave New England, the Patriot way, that stays there. And you go elsewhere and you could kind of just, relax a little bit. But, I don't know. It's a new era in New England, though. And it is going to be really weird. Not seeing Belichick on the sidelines, not seeing Pete Carroll on the sidelines, and even going to college, too. Nick Saban's not going to be on the sidelines. It's going to be really weird. It's a changing of the guard. It really is. I mean, we saw that with all the quarterbacks retiring. Now you're seeing it with the head coaches. But for me, though, I still think Belichick deserves a head coaching job. And I think Mike Vrabel deserves a coaching job, too. I don't know how they didn't get hired. Well, I mean, with you could kind of see maybe why, but I still think that a team should have picked them up. But we'll see what happens in the next head coaching cycle. Because, you're definitely going to see some firings. There are some coaches that, their seat's a little warm. Now, just because that's the case and these coaches end up, if some of these coaches end up getting fired, will they, will these guys get hired? I mean, you look at Doug Peterson could be on the hot seat if the Jags don't, if the Jags don't make the playoffs, he's probably gone. Mike McCarthy's probably gone in Dallas, so maybe, Belichick goes there. Brian Daboll and the Giants. If the Giants end up finishing with another horrible record. It's possible. Maybe even the Eagles, too. Because I know some Eagles fans are not happy with Nick Sirianni. And you got all this talent. You end up having another collapse again. He could be on his way out. And I'm naming all the teams in the NFC East. Maybe Miami, too. You never know. I don't think of the guys I mentioned, I think Mike McDaniel is still safe. Unless the Dolphins have like a horrendous season, which I don't think they're going to have. So, there's going to be openings. Maybe not every single team that I mentioned. I think the Eagles are going to be really good, so I think Nick Sirianni's fine. But, if they have another collapse, if they don't play well up to their expectations, then it's possible. But, yeah, Belichick is going to be busy, though. And you know what? I think it's a good thing because there's definitely a part of him 100% that, he still wants to coach. And, if you're sitting on your couch doing nothing the whole year, you're going to be depressed. There's going to be you're going to be depressed a little bit. So you want to keep yourself busy. And he is really keeping himself busy. And he's got 3 jobs, basically now. ManningCast, Pat McAfee, and now Inside the NFL. Maybe I'll watch Inside the NFL. Yeah, that upsets me. What happened with Inside the NFL? I don't know why. It's something to do with TV rights or broadcasting rights, but it's just when you had most of the CBS crew doing it, that got you hyped. And I don't want to I don't want to bash the guys that do it now. It's a great opportunity for them, but I'm somebody that just doesn't like change. And even when it comes to inside the NBA, we're not gonna see that anymore. Because I think NBC bought the rights to it. There's gonna be no more TNT, so we're losing inside the NBA as well. I mean, you still got inside the NFL, but it's just it's not the same. It's not the same. So, but I just wanted to touch upon the Belichick stuff. So he's going to keep himself busy. You thought, man, we're probably not going to see him. No, we're going to see him. We're going to see him a lot this year. And even if he's not on the sidelines coaching, he is going to be on our television screens quite a bit. So we'll see how he does. But people, there's positive feedback, with him. So we'll see how it goes. So you got him, and you got Tom Brady, who's going to be in the broadcast booth. And Fox actually announced the broadcast team. So Greg Olson is going to slide in with Joe Davis, the B team with Fox. So yeah, I feel bad for Greg Olson because I do like him as an analyst. I think he does a good job. But it's Tom Brady, and you really got no shot against that. And they were not going to do like a 3-man booth. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Bill Belichick joining inside the NFL. Before we go to break, though, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the following link. That is GSMCPodcast.net. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker at the bottom of the show segment down below. So when we come back from our second break of the show, we'll talk about George Kittle and his comments on the Brandon Ayuk contract situation. So I'll get into that when we come back from our second break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.